I never expected to spend my 58th birthday sleeping in an abandoned garage, surrounded by the smell of motor oil and 40 years of dust. My name's Sam Patterson, and let me tell you, this wasn't how I pictured retirement going. There I was, fumbling with an unfamiliar key in the dark, my reading glasses fogging up from the cold, while my son's words kept playing in my head like a broken record. "You're just a stubborn old-timer, Dad. What would you know about real value? Mom knew that." The ancient door groaned like my knees when I finally got that rusted lock to turn. I clicked on my flashlight and stepped inside, and that's when everything changed. What I saw in that beam of light made me stop dead in my tracks. This couldn't be what Dorothy meant when she left me just a garage in her will. But I'm getting ahead of myself. You need to understand how I ended up homeless on my birthday, carrying everything I owned in one beat-up suitcase. The whole mess started 3 weeks earlier when we buried Dorothy. Cancer took her at 56, and I still wasn't processing it right. We'd been married 32 years, and she handled all our finances. I fixed cars, she balanced the books. That was our deal. The day after the funeral, my son Chris and I sat in old Mr. Hoffman's law office downtown. Chris wore his expensive suit, the kind that costs more than I used to make in a month at the shop. Me? I had on my one good shirt and the tie Dorothy bought me for our anniversary. Hoffman cleared his throat and started reading. "To my son, Christopher Patterson, I leave our penthouse residence in Los Angeles and my primary investment portfolio valued at approximately $2.8 million. Chris tried to look sad, but I caught that little smile. Kid always was bad at hiding things. Then came the kicker. "To my beloved husband, Samuel Patterson, I leave the property located at 1420 Industrial Boulevard, the garage and its contents, a garage. After 32 years of marriage, my wife left me a garage while our boy got millions and a penthouse." Chris put his hand on my shoulder, squeezing just a little too hard. "Don't worry, Dad. I'll make sure you're taken care of." I was too shocked to say much. Why would Dorothy do this? Where was I supposed to live? What was I supposed to do with some old garage? I found out that evening when Chris drove me back to the penthouse, our penthouse, where Dorothy and I had lived for the last 15 years. Soon as we walked through the door, he set my suitcase down in the hallway. "I think it would be best if you found somewhere else to stay, Dad." I stared at him. "What do you mean? The penthouse is mine now. It's in the will." His voice had that tone he used in business meetings. "I'm having some colleagues over tomorrow to discuss converting your workshop into a home office. I need to start making changes, but where am I supposed to go?" He shrugged like it was no big deal. "You could stay with Uncle Pete for a while. Or there's always that garage Mom left you." He actually laughed. "Though why she left you that dump is beyond me. What are you going to do with it? Open a tire shop at your age?" Something cracked inside my chest right then. "Chris, this is my home. Your mother and I, it's not your home anymore." He cut me off. "It's mine. Mom made that perfectly clear." I grabbed the door frame to steady myself. "I need time to find a place. You can't expect me to leave tonight." That's when he said it. The words that would echo in my head for hours as I drove around the city in my old Ford, finally ending up on some industrial street I'd never seen before, staring at a rundown garage with a padlock. "You're just a stubborn old-timer, Dad. What would you know about real value?" Mom knew that. The way he said it, like I was some piece of outdated equipment he needed to dispose of. I couldn't even respond. Just took my suitcase, grabbed the key Hoffman had given me, and walked out of what used to be my home. So there I was, standing in the doorway of this forgotten garage, my flashlight showing me something I couldn't believe. The place wasn't full of junk like I expected. Instead, I saw 3 cars covered with custom-fitted tarps, arranged like they were in some kind of showroom. But what stopped my heart was the chrome I could see peeking out from under the front cover, the unmistakable grille of what looked like a vintage Dodge Charger. "Dorothy," I whispered into the silence. "What were you up to?" In all our years together, she'd never mentioned collecting cars, never shown any interest beyond making sure I changed the oil in our daily drivers. This had to be some mistake. I walked over to the first car, my hands shaking as I pulled back the cover. A 1969 Dodge Charger RT emerged, painted in that classic orange they called Hemi Orange. The thing was absolutely pristine, like it had just rolled off the assembly line instead of sitting in this garage for who knows how long. I'd worked on plenty of these back in my shop days. This wasn't just any Charger, it was an RT with the 440 Magnum engine. Even beat up, these were worth serious money. But this one looked showroom perfect. Moving to the second car, I felt my pulse hammering as I lifted that cover. A 1967 Shelby Cobra GT 500 sat there, midnight blue with white racing stripes. I had to sit down on a nearby stool. In my 40 years as a mechanic, I'd only seen 2 of these in person. They were legends. The third cover hid a 1970 Plymouth Cuda, painted in that deep purple Plymouth called Inviolate. The 446-pack hood gave away what was under there. One of the most powerful engines Detroit ever built. Each car had a leather folder sitting on the hood with paperwork, titles, maintenance records, purchase receipts. I wasn't an expert on collector values, but I knew these weren't just nice old cars. These were museum pieces. I was still trying to wrap my head around it when I noticed an envelope taped to the wall by the light switch. My name was written on it in Dorothy's careful handwriting. I flipped the switch and LED lights flooded the space, showing me this wasn't just some abandoned garage. The whole place had been professionally finished. Climate control, custom flooring, security system. This was a serious automotive facility disguised as a rundown building. Sitting on a workbench that looked like it belonged in a Formula One pit, I opened Dorothy's letter with fingers that wouldn't quite behave. My dearest Sam, if you're reading this, then I'm gone and you've discovered my little secret. Please don't be angry about the surprise. I had my reasons. I had to stop reading for a minute. Even her handwriting made my chest tight. When the doctor told me about the cancer 6 years ago and said I had maybe 3 years, I knew I had to plan for your future. I've watched our son change over the years, Sam. The boy we raised turned into someone I hardly recognize, someone who values money more than family, success more than character. That hit like a punch to the gut. Dorothy had seen what I'd been making excuses for. I was afraid of what would happen if I left everything to both of you equally. Chris would have found ways to control your share, to manage it for your own good. I've seen how he talks to you when he thinks I'm not listening. The letter kept going. Turns out when Dorothy got sick, she didn't just sit around feeling sorry for herself. She took the money from our savings, my pension, everything we had, and started investing. Not in stocks or bonds, in classic American muscle cars. These 3 cars are worth approximately $10 million, Sam. I have the documentation to prove it, and I've included contact information for Vincent Cooper, the man who helped me acquire them. He can guide you on whatever you decide to do. $10 million. I looked up at those 3 beautiful machines sitting there like sleeping giants. Dorothy had turned our nest egg into a fortune, but the cars were just the start. She'd used the profits to buy real estate, apartment buildings, commercial properties, even a small marina up the coast. All of it was now mine, hidden in trusts and LLCs that Chris knew nothing about. I wanted to give Chris a chance to show his true character, Sam. If he proved himself worthy, if he took care of you and showed the love and respect we tried to teach him, then maybe you'd want to share some of this with him. But if he revealed who he really is, she'd seen it coming. My practical, loving wife had anticipated exactly what would happen. How Chris would react when he thought he was getting the valuable inheritance, and I was getting scraps. The rest of that letter laid out her whole strategy. The visible assets, the penthouse and investment accounts, were the test. The real wealth was my protection against my own son's greed. I've also purchased a small house in Monterey, Sam. It's nothing fancy, but it's comfortable, and it's yours. The address and keys are in the safe behind our wedding photo. The combination is the date we first met. You always said that was the real beginning of our life together. I spent that first night on a couch I found in a small office attached to the garage. Dorothy had thought of everything: bathroom mini fridge, stocked with water and snacks, even clean clothes in my size hanging in a closet. The next morning, I called Vincent Cooper. He answered on the first ring with a slight Texas drawl. "Mr. Patterson, I've been expecting your call. First, let me say how sorry I am for your loss. Dorothy was a remarkable woman. Mr. Cooper, I'm still trying to understand all this. I only found the cars last night." "Yes, ma'am, said you wouldn't know until after she passed. I'm happy to help however I can. Mind if I come take a look?" 2 hours later, a guy about my age pulled up in a restored '68 Mustang Fastback. Vincent Cooper had silver hair, wore jeans and a work shirt, and carried himself like someone who'd spent time in the service. Turned out we were both Vietnam vets who'd found our way into the car business afterward. "Dorothy started buying these about 5 years ago," he explained as we looked over the collection. "She was incredibly methodical. Every purchase was researched for authenticity and investment potential. Smart woman. But why cars? Dorothy never showed much interest in automobiles." Vince smiled. "She told me once that cars were honest investments. Unlike stocks that could disappear overnight, These were real things you could touch and see. Plus, she knew you'd understand their value better than anyone. She wanted to leave you something that made sense to a man who'd spent his life working with his hands. He pulled out a thick folder and showed me market comparisons. The collection is currently worth about 8.5 million, but values are climbing every year. These particular models, numbers matching, documented provenance, perfect condition, they're considered the holy grail of American muscle car collecting. We spent the morning going over each car in detail. The Charger had its original 440 Magnum engine, still numbers matching. The Shelby was one of only 2,048 GT500s made that year. The Cuda had the legendary 446-pack engine that only came in 1970 and 71. Your wife knew exactly what she was doing, Vince said as he prepared to leave. These aren't just cars, they're rolling pieces of American automotive history, and they're all yours now. After Vince left, I spent the day going through all of Dorothy's paperwork. The real estate portfolio alone was generating enough monthly income to live comfortably for the rest of my life. The cars were just the cherry on top. I found the address for the Monterey house and drove out there that afternoon. It was a small craftsman bungalow 3 blocks from the bay. Nothing fancy, but exactly the kind of place Dorothy and I had always talked about for retirement. She'd even had it furnished with pieces similar to what we'd owned before Chris convinced us to upgrade to that sterile penthouse. The refrigerator was stocked, utilities were on, and there was a note on the kitchen counter. "Welcome home, my love. The coffee is in the usual spot." I sat at that kitchen table drinking coffee and watching boats in the harbor through the window, and for the first time in 3 weeks, I felt like I could breathe. Dorothy hadn't just left me financially secure, she'd given me a new life. That evening, my phone rang. "Chris, Dad, where are you? I've been calling everyone looking for you." I kept my voice steady. "I found a place to stay. Well, I need you to come get the rest of your stuff from the penthouse. The interior designer wants to start work tomorrow." "No, how are you holding up, or are you okay?" "Just more demands. When would be convenient?" I asked. "Tomorrow morning before 9. I have important meetings all afternoon." I thought about those 3 cars sitting in my garage, about the real estate portfolio, about Dorothy's careful planning to protect me from exactly this situation. "I'll be there," I said. The next morning, I showed up at the penthouse at 8:45 sharp. Chris answered the door with his phone pressed to his ear, barely looking up as he waved me inside. The place already looked different, colder somehow. Family photos had been taken down, Dorothy's plants were gone, and workers were measuring the walls. Finally, he said, ending his call, "Your stuff is in boxes by the door. The designer needs everything cleared out." I looked at the cardboard boxes containing what was left of my 32-year marriage. Dorothy's favorite coffee mug, the quilt her mother made us, photo albums from when Chris was little and actually seemed to love his old man. "I'll need about an hour to go through everything," I said. Chris checked his expensive watch. "Make it 30 minutes. I've got a conference call at 9:30. As I sorted through the boxes, I found something Chris had missed. Tucked behind some books was a manila envelope with my name on it. Inside was a copy of all the garage documentation, plus a note. "Just in case you need backup copies. Love always, Dorothy." When I finished packing what mattered, Chris was already back on his phone, barely acknowledging when I said goodbye. Walking out of that penthouse for the last time, carrying my memories in a couple of suitcases, I felt something I hadn't expected. Relief. I settled into the Monterey house easily. The neighbors were friendly retirees who'd known Dorothy from her visits to set up the place. The marina had a small coffee shop where I started having breakfast, talking boats and cars with other veterans who'd found their way to the coast. For 2 weeks I lived quietly, processing everything that had happened. I drove each of the cars once, taking them out on Highway 1 in the early morning when traffic was light. The Charger rumbled like controlled thunder. The Shelby was pure adrenaline. The Cuda felt like driving a barely contained explosion. Each time I thought about Dorothy planning this secret life for me, knowing I'd need something to look forward to after she was gone. Then Chris called again, but this time his voice was different. "Dad, I need to ask you something. Have you been to that garage Mom left you?" I was sitting on my back deck, watching the harbor, a cup of coffee getting cold in my hands. "Why do you ask?" "I drove by there yesterday. The windows are too dirty to see much, but are there actually cars in there?" So he'd figured it out, or at least suspected something. "There are," I said simply. A pause. Then, "What kind of cars?" "The kind your mother thought I might appreciate." Another pause, longer this time. "Dad, I think we need to talk About what exactly? I could hear him breathing, calculating about everything. About the garage, about what Mom really left you. There it was. The moment Dorothy had planned for, when Chris would realize that maybe his old man hadn't gotten the worthless inheritance after all. "You're welcome to come see for yourself," I said. "But you come alone and you come respectful. No more of that stubborn old-timer talk." "Dad, those are my terms, Chris. Take them or leave them." He was quiet for a long moment when tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock. "The address is 1420 Industrial Boulevard." After I hung up, I called Vince Cooper. "Sam, good to hear from you. How are you settling in?" "Pretty well." "Listen, my son is coming to see the garage tomorrow. I thought you might want to be there." Vince chuckled. "The boy who called you a stubborn old-timer. This ought to be interesting." Dorothy wanted to give him a chance to show his true character. "Tomorrow we'll see what he's really made of." The next day I got to the garage early. I uncovered all 3 cars, turned on all the lights, and set out the documentation folders on the workbench. When Vince arrived at 1:45, he looked around approvingly. "You want to teach him a lesson or give him a heart attack?" he asked. "Depends on how he handles himself," I replied. Dorothy believed people could change if they faced the right kind of reality check. At exactly 2 o'clock, Chris's BMW pulled up outside. Through the small window, I watched him sit in his car for a minute, probably trying to figure out what he was walking into. When he finally got out and approached the garage, I hit the button to open the main door. His expression when those lights revealed what was inside will stay with me for the rest of my life. Chris stood there frozen, his mouth hanging open like he'd been hit with a wrench. His eyes moved from the Charger to the Shelby to the Cuda, then back again, like his brain couldn't process what he was seeing. "Jesus Christ," he whispered. "Language," I said. "The way I used to when he was 12. Old habits." "Dad? These are... How did Mom?" He walked toward the Charger like he was in a trance, reaching out to touch the paint before stopping himself. "This is a real RT Charger. Factory orange. This thing has to be worth about $300,000, Vince said, stepping out from behind the Cuda where he'd been checking the tire pressure. If it were just restored. But this one's numbers matching original with 12,000 actual miles. Double that. Chris spun around. "Who are you, Vincent Cooper?" "I helped your mother acquire these vehicles." Vince's voice was neutral, professional. "You must be the son she mentioned." The way he said it made Chris wince. I could see the wheels turning in his head, adding up numbers, calculating what he was looking at. "The Shelby over there," I said, walking over to pat its hood. 1967 GT 500. One of 2,048 made that year. Your mother paid $450,000 for it 3 years ago. Current market value is pushing $800,000. Chris's face had gone white. "And the purple one?" "Plymouth Cuda, 446-pack. 4-speed. Only made them 2 years with that engine." I opened the hood to show him the massive motor inside. "This one's worth about $400,000 to the right collector." "So you're telling me," Chris did the math in his head, his corporate training kicking in, "you're sitting on over $1 million in cars?" "Conservative estimate is $1.5 million, Vince corrected. "But that's just current market. These are appreciating assets, son. 5 years from now could be double that." Chris sat down heavily on the same stool I'd used that first night. "Mom did this? Mom bought these?" I pulled out Dorothy's letter and handed it to him. "Read it." Watching him go through that letter was like watching someone discover their whole life had been a lie. His face changed 3 times, confusion, then understanding, then something that might have been shame. "She knew," he said quietly when he finished. "She knew exactly what I'd do." "Your mother was a smart woman," I said, "smarter than either of us gave her credit for." He looked up at me, and for a second I saw the kid he used to be before business school and corporate climbing changed him. "Dad, I'm sorry. The way I treated you," what I said. "Sorry doesn't give me back the 3 weeks I spent thinking my wife of 32 years considered me worthless," I said. "Sorry doesn't take back stubborn old-timer or throwing me out on my birthday." Chris flinched like I'd slapped him. I was angry, I thought. I thought she'd lost her mind, leaving you a garage and giving me everything else. I thought she trusted me more than you. "She did trust you," I said. "She trusted you to show your true character. And you did." Vince cleared his throat. "Sam, if you don't mind, I think this is family business from here." After Vince left, Chris and I stood there looking at those cars in the silence. Finally, he spoke up. "What happens now?" I'd been thinking about that question for days. What would Dorothy want me to do? She'd given Chris a test, and he'd failed it pretty spectacularly, but she'd also raised him, loved him, believed he could be better. "That depends on you," I said. "Your mother left instructions. If you proved yourself worthy, she wanted me to consider sharing this with you. If you didn't," I shrugged. "I didn't," he said quietly. "I know that. No, you didn't." He was quiet for a long minute, running his hand through his hair the way he'd done since he was little when he was thinking hard. "The penthouse is hemorrhaging money," he said finally. "The maintenance fees alone are killing me, and I found out last week there's a special assessment for $200,000 in building repairs. I can't afford it." I wasn't surprised. Dorothy had been handling our finances for a reason. "I've been thinking about selling," he continued. "Using the money to buy something smaller, more reasonable. Maybe like that house you're living in now." "That would be smart," I agreed. "Would you? Would you help me figure it out? The finances, I mean. I always thought I was good with money, but Mom handled everything for you guys, and I'm realizing I don't know as much as I thought I did." It wasn't much, but it was a start. The first time in years he'd asked for my help instead of dismissing my opinion. "I could do that," I said. "But there would be conditions." "Name them." "First, you treat me with respect. No more dismissive comments, no more acting like my age makes me stupid. Done. Second, you start coming around regular, not just when you need something. Your mother wanted us to have a relationship, and we're going to work on that. Okay? Third, you earn your way back into this family. I'm not giving you half of anything just because you're sorry. You want to be part of what your mother built, you prove you deserve it." Chris nodded slowly. "How do I do that?" "We'll figure it out together," I said. "But it starts with understanding that your mother didn't leave you less because she loved you less. She left you a chance to become the man she knew you could be." As we walked out of that garage together, Chris stopped and looked back at those 3 beautiful machines. "She really was smarter than both of us," he said. "Yes, she was. Here's what I learned from all this, and maybe it'll help you if you're dealing with family who don't respect what you've earned over the years. Sometimes the people closest to us can't see our worth until circumstances force them to look harder. Your experience, your wisdom, your lifetime of work, that all has value, even if your own kids can't see it yet. Don't let anyone convince you that getting older makes you less valuable or less deserving of respect. And if you're smart like Dorothy was, you plan ahead to protect yourself and teach the lessons that need teaching. Because sometimes the best gift you can give someone is the chance to prove they're better than they think they are."